don't want to get too much into the lyrics yet because that's a little. I want to go on a whole tangent on that. But so let's just take them one by one, right? So I think the first line, honestly, no joke, I think the first line might be the best line in the song. The holy waters watered down. So it's a really interesting line, and it evokes some kind of well, if you think about it, right? This idea that holy water, which is blessed and holy, it's become watered down or distilled by non-holy water, so that it's still holy, but it's degrading over time, like a what's it called, a half-life or something. That's not the same thing. I know half-life is a whole different thing, but the point I'm making is that the idea of holy water getting watered down is a very interesting way of portraying the degradation of beauty without implying that it's necessarily become ugly or bad, right? It's just sort of losing the holiness to a degree, right? So I think that's kind of fun. And then the next line is, and this town's lost its faith, which again, we're taking it one by one. I think that line is perfectly fine too. It kind of sets the set. It gives us a setting for this song. It's a small town, which fits the demographic, I think, for this song, or the target audience. This is very much like a folksy small town vibe. So even people in the city who don't live in small towns, they can place themselves in a town mentality when they listen to it. So I'm always for artists creating a setting with their music. I think that that's always, great. Give your listener an image or something to work with visually with the lyrics. Then we get into our colors will fade eventually. Here on. Fade eventually, so will fade eventually. Okay, so this is honestly where this is where the problems start for me. And I remember the first time I heard this song, this line immediately, I was like, oh brother, because this is basic. This is as basic as it comes, especially considering how it turns out throughout the rest of the song. Like, he's not subverting this idea of the color. Let's back up. The idea here is that there's no color in the world and everything is black and white. And then like you meet somebody and they bring color into your world and everything's good. It is one of, in my opinion, one of the most overused common, like, the word elementary comes to mind, but not necessarily in the like, I mean it almost literally, elementary. Like, this is what an elementary school student would write for their fictional world of like, in the world of gobbledygook, the colors were gone, and then the hero came back and brought the colors too. It's just so basic. The most interesting portrayal I can think of off the top of my head was in the book The Giver, where the world, like the scientists had actually purposefully removed colors from the world, which is kind of cool. It's at least like there was a reason behind it, why they did it. But I not to get off on a tangent, but like even that was a children's book, right? I mean, so this idea of like, oh, the colors, there's no color in the world. It's all black and white. And then, spoiler alert, but in this song, he meets his girl and there's all the colors in the world, right? It's just silly. And to me, it just reeks of like amateur lyrical writing. It's almost like the lines like, the voice is in my head. It's like, that's so corny. It's so corny. So yeah, already we're off to a decent start lyrically, but then we have this line and it's just, ugh. So let's just see where it goes before or let's keep going through these lyrics, right? If our time is running out, day after day, we'll make the mundane a masterpiece. Okay, so this is a pretty, so first off, so he says, so if our time is running out, this line's fine. And he says that, well, I like it because I think there's a few ways you can interpret this, right? So the average listener who is just maybe has a girlfriend or boyfriend that they love, and that's what this song evokes in them, they'll just view it as like referencing the colors fading or the town losing its faith, right? Like this idea that, it just relates back to the words that he just said earlier on in the verse, right? But I think that these lines can also have an impact on anyone who maybe has a loved one who's sick, or maybe they're leaving each other soon, like a high school romance where they're going to different colleges or something like that, right? A forced situation where they can't be together. So lines like this, where it's like, so if our time is running out, it's, it is a little generic, but it's not out of nowhere. It's referencing the lines before it, but you can also interpret it in your own way in your personal life. So it's all right. Like it's pretty good. And then he says, day after day will make the mundane our masterpiece. So I actually love this line because to me, I think it's probably the only line in the entire song that actually references the song title. I will get into this later because, again, I want to have a whole spiel on some of these lyrics, but I think that this is, I think one of the worst things that this song did was not utilize the themes evoked by the song title, but we'll get into it later. So let's keep going.